Yo, what's good, guys? Welcome back again to this channel. In this video, we're actually going to be treating the power of zones, and I'm actually going to be showing you some conferences in which I pay close attention to, and as well as a trade I was able to take, like the live trade I was able to take in the course of this strategy, and how well the trade performed. So pretty much stay tuned. Remember, if you're tuning in for the first time, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you would be notified whenever it is we drop a new video showing the entire trading experience. Alright, let's quickly get back to the chart itself. Now the first thing we look at for in this place or in this chart is marking out our key zones, and by marking out our key zones, I mean marking out our most recent sweeping liquidity on the buy side, and as well as sweeping liquidity on the sell side. Or in most of the cases, you could switch over to a higher time frame and mark out the highs and the lows of the previous candle. In most of the case, I prefer the 4 hour candle for this particular trade. So I just did that, as you can see. That's why you have these lines here, and then I made use of the trend line, as you can see right here. And when I had to use my trend line, as you can see right here, these are the zones in which these are the touches on the trend line, as you can see right here quickly. And then if you move down to this point, this third, where you have the third touch, you find out that there was a break of trend line right there. So that zone was actually broken, and then there was a retest. So as you can see, where I actually circled with that red sign, there was the retest of that particular trend line, and then the price kept on pushing. So this is actually what I did on this in this very chart, and this is actually also I think a 15 minute um time frame on this particular chart, and that's why you have this. So pretty much I'm just going to be stepping down some more. Let's use okay, sorry, this was a 30 minutes, now this is a 15 minute, as you can see. So this is what price action is actually portraying in a 15 minute time frame. You can see the point of touches on the trend line, as you can see right here. Remember, we're making use of this zone, which tends to be my resistance and support. So I have my resistance right at the top here, and at the bottom here is my support. And this is what price is actually doing. You can see the retest on the zone, on the trend line itself, and then price kept on pushing and kept on moving high. Now I want you to pay another close attention. There's another zone here, as you can see right here. Um this very region where I'm indicating with a rectangle line is another solid zone. Now if you watch, each time price gets to that zone, there is a reaction. Each time price gets to that particular region, there is a reaction. So with these, we've been able to know that here is actually a zone. So we are anticipating the futuristic behavior of the price action on getting to that zone, and then we wait for whatsoever is going to play out, and then we are able to um, you know um, go down to a lower time frame, and then spot our entry, and then go ahead and place our buy limit, because we would be looking out for buys. Yes, we will be looking out for buys in this case. So pretty much this is it. Now as you can see right here, let me reduce it much more so it could be crystal clear for us to understand much more better. Okay, so this is pretty much. Now I also have other um other zone in which I had marked out in previously, and as you can see there, right there, some trade, couple of trade I did right there happens to play out beautifully well. And this is a new one in which I want to take, as you can see right here. So I'm just paying close attention to my technical analysis to ensure that I'm on the right tracks. Now let's go to 55 minutes time frame. So Now this is what price action is doing on 5 minutes time frame. Remember, this is our support and resistance right here. Now all of these points I circled, you could see what happened there in terms of price action, and that was actually before the massive, or before the push down to the next um, region. Now price got here, still did something like this, so I have to just go ahead and keep paying attention to all of the strategic points here. So this is quite beautiful. Remember, if you're tuning in, do where to hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, so you will and would be notified as we keep dishing out more tutorial videos to help your entire trading experience. All right, let's continue. Now this is where we are at the moment, or at the time. So we are actually going to be looking at, like I said initially, we would be looking at for more of buys. Yes, we'll be looking at for more of buys. But before those buys will become reality, we have to ensure that we are we've exhausted our sell before we can, um the market would start retracing to a buy. So this is what we are actually looking at for price getting to this zone. Now if you watch, this zone is a very tight, where I'm circling at the moment is a very, point of a very, you know important zone, and this is going to be serve as our POI, which is our point of interest. So at this zone, we're expecting price to come to this particular point. Remember, the zone is an intercept of this other horizontal zone, in alliance with the diagonal zone as well of the trend line. So when price gets to this point, definitely it's going to react. It's going to react massively. So pretty much this is what we would be looking at and be waiting for price to do before we would be, you know before we get into our long position. So we're actually going to be targeting the exact same, highs. Remember, we have all our resistance levels, so that's what we're going to be targeting, our resistance level at this point. And then I'm going to show you beautifully what happened in the course of this trade, and how this trade played out to be. So yes, so okay, I think we're good to go. So pretty much this is it. Now look at what the trade played out to be. It was a very sharp and a very quick one. You could see there was a long rejection. Price got to that particular zone, like I said, and the rejection was massive, and then it kept moving towards the upside to, retest that another this other trend line, because I had to draw this other trend line as price kept going, because as price keeps going, I keep doing my analysis. So that was how I was able to draw that trend line, price retest it, and then continued pushing down, pulling down. But then I'd already taken my profit. So pretty much this is it. Where to hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, so you will be notified whenever we bring a new tutorial your way. Don't forget to be part of our Discord group. If you have any question, do where to leave in the comments. Remember to like and to share this video. I'll see you in the next one.